welcome back to the channel. First off, I want to just start off by saying thank you so much to all of my supporters out there, those of you that have been showing nothing but love, nothing but kindness. Miss May truly appreciates it so very much. Next, I also want to show you guys, many of you have said, Miss May, what can we do? How can we help with this Black history movement? Because let's be honest, our history has pretty much been non-existent. You know, nobody wants to talk about what happened during those times, you know, 400 years ago that were so sad and traumatizing. So I created some posters that I felt like you could share in your classroom, and the posters basically look like this. So they have the awesome African-American leader, and then their name, what they were known for, and then just some facts about them. So like this was Bessie Coleman. So Bessie Coleman was the first Black woman to hold a pilot license. And the sad thing about Bessie's situation was when she tried to go to a flight school in America, they denied her because of the color of her skin, because she was a Black woman. So she fought and she decided to learn French. She went to France and she got her pilot license, which it only took her 7 months to get, and she was able to start flying. So that's Bessie Coleman, okay? Things we wouldn't know about. Ruby Bridges. Well, we know Ruby Bridges. I personally wouldn't be able to be a teacher to white children if it wasn't for Ruby Bridges. What bothers me with the situation with Ruby Bridges was all the teachers, all the white teachers that taught in this particular school that Ruby went to decided not to teach there, but one. There was one white teacher that said, you know what, I'm gonna still teach there and I'm gonna teach her. And I commend that woman for doing that, but all the other teachers refused to work because of a Black child going to that school. It's literally sickening. Whew, it's really sad. And then of course we have President Barack Obama. He was our first Black president of the United States of America. And I feel like he represented the Black community very well. And then we have Thurgood Marshall. He was part of the Supreme Court. He was a judge and he was awesome. I'm not going to read all the facts to you guys because if it's something that you're interested in, there's 19 awesome Black people that I created posters about. So you can check out TPT store. Link will be in the description box below. So now let's get to the other good stuff. I want to talk to you guys today about two things. One, think sheets that I think are so crucial in the classroom, and then I want to talk about logical consequences. Logical consequences, I think what I'm going to do is have kind of like a mini series for this. I'm going to talk about two behaviors and what the logical consequences could be. Now, as I speak my truth, I'm going to just say to you, Miss May has been teaching for 16 going on 17 years now. And in my career, I can say that my principals and vice principals, people that have come to watch me teach, will tell me and have told me, Miss May, your gift is classroom management, building relationships with children, and creating a positive learning environment. Those are my three things that I know I do well as a teacher. You know, some people have their things where they're an excellent math teacher, they're an excellent science teacher, they're excellent, history teacher. Everybody has their thing. And my thing is classroom management, building relationships with children, and creating those positive classroom environments every single year for my students. I always want my kids to leave and tell me, Miss May, I don't want to go home. Or Miss May, can we just stay a little bit longer? That's when I know I've accomplished my goal. So what I speak to you today, please do not feel like it's the end all be all, or I'm the master at this, or I know everything. Please don't think that way about me, because I don't feel that way I don't think that way about myself. Also, people, you have to understand that things take time. If you really want a good, well-oiled running classroom, you have to work at it. You have to be consistent about it. You know, oftentimes people will say, I tried this for a week and it didn't work. Well, honey, you're gonna have to try longer than a week if it's not working. And you have to be consistent. It's not gonna happen overnight. It may happen sooner than other times, but if you stay consistent with it, it's going to happen, and you will get that classroom that you truly want. Now, in order to get that as well, you have to build relationships with students. I have many videos on that. I'll put a card up here so that you can take a look at those videos. But building relationships with children is so crucial. I think sometimes some teachers get on this power trip of, I'm the teacher, you're the student, you're gonna listen to me, blah, 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 blah. That's not gonna work. I don't care how big and bad you think you are, but anytime you are disrespectful to a child and you're blah, 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 who in the world's gonna listen to you? I'm not gonna listen to you. So anyway, so those are keys. Definitely start building those relationships on that first day of school. I start my relationships the night before school starts. I have a video on that too, where I call my students every year. I've been calling them every year the last few years, the night before school the next day. And basically I just call them, let them know how nervous I am, but how excited I am. It's really, really cute, but I just think it sets the tone for the beginning of the school year. I truly, truly do. So again, I'll put a card up there. Okay, let's get started. So something that I want to talk to you really quick about is a think sheet. Now, what is a think sheet, Miss May? Well, a think sheet is a sheet that helps children reflect on the behaviors that they have shown that you may not like. For example, if a child is being, disrespectful or disruptive to other kids or even to you, they need to have a think sheet. A variety of different styles in my store, but a think sheet can look something like this. Okay, it says think sheet, student's name, today's date. It says, what did I do? So you can use this, kindergarten to 5th grade. And basically what they can do is they can draw a picture. So like in kindergarten, if they can't write words quite yet, they can draw a picture of what they did. And then they can draw a picture of, what will I do next time? Well, next time I'm going to make a better choice, and that better choice is going to be whatever the case may be. So they can draw a picture and then write the words, or just draw the picture. Just kind of depending on their level, and what they're capable of doing. The student sign their name, parent signature, and then your signature. And basically this goes home so that the parents can look over it and review it. I know in the past I've had kids who, oh, I forgot the thing sheet. Oh, well, I always take a picture. And then I just send a reminder text and just say, hey, I hope you received this from yesterday or the day before, whatever, just so that the parents give it. So if the kids don't bring it back the next day, I tell them I better have that think sheet tomorrow, or we're gonna have to let mom, dad, whoever know. A think sheet I feel is so much better than just pull your card or move your clip. Y'all, okay, I guess I'm referring to a lot of videos, but I do have a lot of videos about different things. But I have a video on that stupid, yes, I said the word stupid, that stupid behavior clip chart. Everybody starts in the middle, and then if you're doing bad, you move down, you move your clip down. If you do good, you move the clip up. I don't care how cute they are, on the outside, how they look, oh, so cute, match your decor, blah, blah, blah. I can't stand them, I hate them, they suck, they don't do anything. All they do, that stupid chart, all that chart is a way to humiliate other kids. That's all it does. It just makes kids feel horrible, feel down. I mean, it's almost like oh, I can't even think of the word, but the clip chart thing, and I'll be the first to admit, I used that starting off because I thought, okay, this is all we can do, this is it. But once I realized what the benefits of that was, that had to hit the road, Jack, had to hit the road. So those of you that are still using a behavior clip chart, That is not it. Okay, so the think sheet, it just kind of gives the child time to just kind of reflect about what they did. And I'm gonna tell you, y'all, before I even give think sheets, I model to the kiddos about the think sheets. I explain to them what they are, how to receive one, and how you don't want to receive one. So before I even use them, I always introduce and talk about that to them, because usually at the beginning of the year, I'm talking about, you know, bucket filling and how to fill someone's bucket and how to dip somebody's bucket. And then that's when I start talking about the think sheets, and I start explaining, you know, what a think sheet is and how you receive one, blah, 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 blah. I will say in first grade, kids do not like think sheets. They do not like them. It's like, ooh, you know, because sometimes all I have to do is say, I hope I do not have to pass out a think sheet today. Or, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh no, I don't want that. They don't like it. You have to make it seem like it's just really a sad thing to have to do. Oh, you have a think sheet? Oh. And what I would do is I would like put it on a different type of colored paper too, so that they know, oh my gosh, that is not the business. So that's a think sheet. I think think sheets are great. There's so many out there for different grade levels and ages that you can choose from. Again, I have some in my store too. Now, those are think sheets. Now let's talk about logical consequences. Today, I'm going to talk about 2 logical consequences that you can use with certain types of behavior. So let's talk a bit about behavior 1. I don't know why this is an issue, but it is. Kids playing in the restroom, not doing their business, washing their hands, you know, just going, doing what they need to do and come back to class. There always seems to be a time, especially during the beginning of the school year, when you're trying to teach those procedures of how to use the restroom, there always seems to be a problem with the restroom, you know? So let's just say, for example, you have a student, okay? Because I've had this happen to me before, where another teacher is like, oh, Miss May, so-and-so was in the restroom and they were putting water on the floor. They didn't pick up their paper towels off the floor. I thought I would walk them back to your classroom. This is Miss May. Oh my gosh. How could you do that? Oh, my heart is so sad right now that you would do that to our restroom. The restroom where the custodians clean to make it look nice and keep it fresh for everyone to use the restroom, and you choose to ruin that? So I always get dramatic, y'all. Always. And the reason why I get dramatic, because I want them to know that they have hurt me. Because one, by this time, I have developed some serious relationships with these kids. I have started eating with them, you know, one-on-one. I have ate with them as a whole class. I'm getting to know them, you know, as individuals. You know, I make it fun in the learning environment, but yet they still see that side of Miss May that's, oh, I better get together. Like, they don't want to disappoint. You know, and so sometimes kids, they just can't help it. They get in there, they get with friends, they want to show out, they want to be cute. That impulse gets them, and boom, they just want to just boom. So I go and get into all that dramatic stuff. I do. And 9 times out of 10, the kid is looking very sad and very, okay guys, I'm sorry, I had to fix my memory card. But anyway, like I was saying, you know, I'm building those relationships with the kiddos. And they feel bad. They totally feel bad once I start talking to them. I'm not yelling at them. I'm not trying to belittle them in front of the class. I just get very dramatic and very like, my heart is so hurt, you know? And just wanting them to know that they really hurt my heart. So, you know, I could be in a small group and, you know, the teacher has brought my student to me, interrupted the class. And in my small group, I can just stop my kiddos and just say, hey, I want you to just do whatever, you know, for the moment. I'll tell them to do something really quick. Then I'll go to the student and I'll basically just have a conversation with them. And I always get on eye level. Now, the logical consequence for them ruining and messing up the restroom is having them go back into that restroom and they clean it up. That's the logical consequence. Not sitting out for 10 minutes of recess, because kids need to run. They need to run. They have to go and run. Not move your clip down. Well, okay, move my clip down. So what? I still messed up the restroom. That's why moving the clips, those aren't logical consequences. The logical consequence is that you're gonna go in that restroom and you're gonna clean it up. That's the logical consequence. Let's just say that child continues to, you know, maybe later on in the week or even the following week, and they choose to act a fool in the restroom. Well, they're gonna clean up whatever they did to mess it up. They're gonna fix it up, and then bam, they're gonna get a think sheet. Okay, because I've given you a chance. Now, I believe in giving a chance, but now this is the second time you've done it. So now you need a think sheet, because you need to think about what you're doing and how it's affecting your learning time. So they get a think sheet. They clean up, they get a think sheet. That's the logical consequence for kids who are messing around and playing in the restroom. You may also have a logical consequence where another student has to take a child. I've had this happen before, where another student who's extremely responsible takes that child to the restroom and waits for them. 9 times out of 10, most kids want to do that. They feel like they're important. They feel like they're doing something. So you send that child, well, you can't go to the restroom by yourself now, so I have to send someone to take you. And I'll usually have a kid take them, and I usually do that for a couple of times, or for that whole day that day. If it happened more towards the end of the day, then the next day, all day long, somebody has to take you to the restroom. And then that takes care of that with the restroom. So that's using the restroom, messing it up, yada, yada, yada. Next, let's talk about kiddos who refuse to do work, because let's face it, we've all had those kids who refuse to do work. They refuse to do work because they just have an attitude and they just don't want to do it. They refuse to do work because, you know, they honestly can't help it. It's an attention issue. So it's really not truly refusing. It's just, they just can't do it. Now, that's where you're going to have to start having some documentation, because you're either going to have kiddos who refuse to do work. You give the logical consequence, maybe once, maybe twice, but then after that, it's done. They start working. Then you may have the other student who doesn't do the work because it's an attention thing. And so that means that you're going to have to start documenting, because you may have to take this kid, you know, you might have to have a conversation with, you know, your support staff, with their parent, and just kind of documenting, showing your documentation on this particular student and why they're not doing their work, because technically they're not refusing. They can't help it because it's the attention, it's just not there. So let's talk about the kiddo who doesn't have anything going on, and they're just refusing to do work because they have an attitude. You're not going to make them do it. They're not in the mood. They're sitting there like, whatever, you're not going to make me do work. Or they're playing with their pencil all the time. You know, they're just in their own world. Let's talk about those kids and that logical consequence. So my first thing is, you know, like I've said, is of course making sure you're building those relationships, because when you have those relationships established, kids don't want to disappoint their teacher. Also, modeling. Like I always model at the beginning of the school year, that first week, I always model what it looks like when someone is working in class. You know, what it should look like, what it should sound like, and then I model the behavior that we shouldn't see when it's time to work at our seats or in groups. I model both ways. I have the kids model those ways as well, the good and the not so good. Then after I've modeled, hopefully that has stuck with kids, but let's face it, we get those kids who do refuse to work. So if you have a child that is refusing to work, what I like to do is I just start walking around and I just like give praise to kids that I notice that are doing an awesome job. Wow, I'm noticing so many firsties that are working so hard, you know, and I get really dramatic and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could cry right now. And I'll say, the reason why I could cry right now is because I see all of these firsties working so hard. It makes my teacher heart so happy. So I do that, and 90% of the time, 98% of the time, the kids love that. They love that. Who doesn't want to be praised for doing well, for doing, a good job? And then sometimes that gets that kid that's refusing to work to get back to work, to get to working and doing their thing. Then you might have that kid that's choosing not to work. So then basically what I'll do is I'll just go to the kid and I'll just say, hey, what's going on? Do you need some help? I never yell it across the room. I never stand over them and ask them. I always get down on their level and ask them. And I'm talking in a very calm, soft voice. You have to be calm, because if you come off, you don't want to be that teacher that's like, get to work. Why aren't you working? Move your clip. You don't want to be that teacher. So I get down to their level and I try to talk to them very softly, very calmly, and say, hey, what's going on? I noticed you haven't started your work yet, but I know you're going to get started, and I know you're going to do an awesome job. And then I'll just tap them on their little shoulder like, you got this, and I walk away. I wait maybe about 3 minutes and just kind of see, and maybe the kid will start, maybe they won't, okay? So let's just say they don't. They're still not doing their work. So then I get back down on their level and say, I notice you're still not doing your job. So you have a choice. You can either do this now or you can do this at a different time. But the choice is yours, and I'm giving you that choice. But this is gonna have to get finished. And then I leave. Okay, let's say they still refuse to do their work. That's when you start, you just say, okay. If I let it be. I'm not gonna keep going back and forth with the child. I'm not doing that, because I have a job to do. So I go to them twice, okay? After that, the end of class, I go over to that student, I take the paper, and I say, okay, you're gonna do this at a different time today. I take it, put it to the side, so I know that they're gonna do it. Now, the logical consequence is not sit out for recess. It's not sit out for recess and do the work. It's not move your clip. That's not a logical consequence. The logical consequence is, okay, you're gonna do a think sheet, and then you're gonna do your work. That's the logical consequence. You're gonna do your work. Now, when I have my kids do their work, it's always during math stations time. My students love math time. They love math tub time. They love coming to me in small group. They love doing independent work in math. They love being with each other in groups, playing math games. They love that. So I always choose that time for a student to finish work, because when they're missing out on math games, or if they're missing out with coming with me, learning a new skill or reviewing something, they don't like that. So I always choose it during math station time. And then during that time, they're working on that work that they should have completed in a think sheet. Now, I know you're thinking, well, Miss May, they're missing out on what they're supposed to be learning in math. I know that, but hopefully after a couple of times of having to do this, hopefully you only have to do it once. But once they see that you mean business and that you're gonna be consistent with it, I guarantee you, it's gonna stop. Once they see how bad they're disappointing you, I guarantee you, it's gonna stop. So those are my 2 logical consequences for restroom and refusal to do work. You can also, for refusal to do work, you can also send that work home. What I like to do is I always take pictures of the work that I'm sending home, just in case I don't get it back. And then you can send it home with the kid, and you can have them do their think sheet during that special time and do the work that they chose not to do at during class time. That can go home. But either way, if not both, the think sheet and the assignment gets done during that time that I know they're not going to be happy with, or they do one and then the other go home. That's the logical consequence. Moving a clip is not going to tell a kid, oh, I didn't do my work, so I need to do it. That's not helpful. Those clip charts are not helpful. I don't care how cute they are. I don't care what they look like. If there is negativity on there where it's call a parent or warning, call a parent, go to the principal, that is not effective. It's not. Point blank period, it's not effective. I don't care who puts in my comments that it is. I don't believe you. I'll never believe you, okay? There's no research that says that those stupid clip charts are key to behavior. Nope, not it. Also, I don't believe in taking away recess. I don't care who takes it away, but I don't feel like taking away recess is beneficial to kids either. Sitting out there, because let's say you say, oh, you know what, you have 10 minutes out because you chose not to do your work during blah, 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 blah. They're sitting out there watching everybody play. You know what those kids are doing that's sitting out for those 10 minutes? Oh, they're playing in the dirt, or they're playing on the concrete, or they're looking thinking, oh, I cannot wait to play tag with them. Oh, I'm going down that slide. I like how she went down that slide. That was nice. Oh, I can't wait to get on those swings. That's what they're thinking about. They're not thinking about the work that they didn't do. That's not helping. That's not working. Okay. All right, guys, so I'm gonna stop here. I know this was kind of a long video, but I had to do this video for you all. I'm gonna come back with more logical consequences for you for different types of behaviors that you see or you have experienced that can truly help you. But most importantly, before I end this video, please build those relationships with your students. You will not regret it. I love you guys so much. And as always, don't forget to always pray, because God will truly always make a way. I love you guys. Bye.